everybody, and welcome back to the Broadway Jets YouTube channel. You'll know me from Twitter as NYJ Mike. I'm joined as always by the master of receipts, NYJ Matt. And Matt, today we're going to mock up a little mock draft for the Jets 2023 edition.
Mock draft version 1. To set the ground rules, though, this can change based on an Aaron Rodgers trade. You never know where they're going to pick. Potentially a Lamar Jackson trade. Another thing with mock drafts that you got to set the floor right. People, for some reason, will do these mocks, and the simulators aren't always accurate. And they'll take a guy at like pick 58 that probably is like a top 10 pick, and they'll talk about how great the draft was. So this is really for a reasonability review. We'll go through a few players that we do like in rounds 1 through 3, and we'll just talk through it. Positions, players. I know I follow draft content a lot. Am I like a all 22 analyst? Not even close. So we can go through it, but Mike, I think we're ready to kick it off.
Yeah, look, it's very exciting. And like you said, this is the pre-Aaron Rodgers trade.
Yeah, we're
mock
gonna get
draft.
Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't matter.
Jets are not picking at 13 unless Joe Douglas trades like 2-2s instead.
I would love a 2-2s, but they get the 2024 one if he plays another year or some like conditions that I'm fine to give up a future one if he plays enough games or whatever it might be. But we're in for the draft. We'll also go through a few of the picks before the Jets to see where a few guys went and who we maybe could have gotten at that spot. So, Will Anderson goes 1.
Wow, Will Levis 2. Look at that.
Will Levis, dude, there's the videos of him in high school throwing the ball like out of stadiums. I get the hype around him. I would still go Bryce Young, but a very heavy cornerback class. So Devon Witherspoon and Christian Gonzalez are going to go top 10. And then if you have 3 to 4 quarterbacks to go, there's 2 positions the Jets aren't going to draft at 13. So you want these positions to fly off the board, and going all the way down, even Anthony Richardson goes in the top 10 here.
Take him. Wow, Brian Branch, that's a little bit early. The Jets do need a safety.
Yeah, Brian Branch, if in a scenario where all tackles go and they want to go that route, maybe you do it. I don't go that route, but here we have the pick of our offensive lineman, right? You look at Paris Johnson Jr., Peter Skoronski, and Broderick Jones all make it to 13.
This is a really good scenario for the Jets if this happens.
Yeah, and Skoronski, the big thing on him is the arm length. I think you'll see at the combine if he like that classic, hey, to be a tackle, you need X 31 and a half, whatever bullshit they tell you. But the Raiders at 7, I think it's a spot where they're going to get a veteran quarterback, so they probably won't take CJ Stroud, and they'll take one of these offensive linemen. But at this point, I think you could go either way. I think Paris Johnson might give you more versatility. I think Skoronski, though, I think he even early on was a center in high school, and then he moved to tackle, and so he gives you versatility as well. I probably go with Skoronski here, given what he's on top of everyone's board for the most part. But either way, I don't think you could argue with the pick here.
I've read that Skoronski's more of a high floor guy, which, is nice in round 1.
Mm-hmm.
You want to, because a high floor in round 1, even if he's not an absolute stud, you're in a decent spot. There's always the talk of receiver here, which is interesting. I mean, depends what people think about Elijah Moore. Depends what the Jets do with Corey Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a lot of good receiving options in free agency. It looks like some of the main guys like Alan Lazard and Mecole Hardman. It's like not guys who are a big upgrade over Corey Davis. So
yeah, and the one receiver going here is Quentin Johnston, obviously a monster out of TCU. The size that you would want the Jets to bring in at receiver, you could complement a Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore very well. I think the problem with Quentin Johnston, he does have games that he disappeared a bit. I loved betting his totals, and he dominated not really dominated, but the semifinal game, he had that one catch for like 75 yards. I think he had like 4 or 5 for 180, whatever it was. In the final, he had one catch for 3 yards, right? So against a top tier opponent like Georgia, you want to see more. I'd honestly rather go with, like, if they do go wide receiver, Jackson Smith and Jigba. What he did in 2021 is ridiculous. I know he's a year removed, the injuries, I get it. But if they really wanted to go that route, I would go there. Jordan Addison out of USC, great year, but a lot of people have him going more towards like the Giants pick, right? Like mid to low 20s. So I'm fine with taking tackle here. I
would take a tackle for the record. I'm not pro receiver. It's just the other one position that's been mocked.
It has been, and there's other guys here. Like I don't know. I don't think they go edge. Brian Brzee had a down year, but he was like a top tier guy on the D line. I
The
do
weird,
think.
the weird thing is if you take a tackle, let's say Dwayne Brown doesn't retire,
Mhm.
Mekhi Becton's healthy. What do you do?
It's a good question, but it's honestly a good problem to have if you do have just a ton of versatility in the offensive line. I think for this sake, we'll go Skoronski being the pick here at
Yeah,
at 13.
you think like six right tackles will get injured this year for the Jets?
Hopefully not, but I mean that's the going, the record right there. Now here we get to the spot where a guy might be here that we're like, there's no way in real life they're gonna end up being here.
Right.
So looking at a few guys that went off the board that we could have went after. Let's see. A lot of people thought Michael Mayer could be a play in the second round. I think he's going in the first round tight end. The Jets already drafted a day 2 tight end. Jeremy Rucker is a late 3.
Yeah. Late
So
three.
I mean, and you give enough money out there. I love having the Dolphins have a forfeited pick. I think it's hilarious.
Scumbags.
And then after us, Broderick Jones went to Pittsburgh, which has been mocked a lot. And then Paris Johnson Jr. goes over to Detroit.
Oh wow, Detroit gets another tackle.
Their O line is ridiculous. All right. So looking here at Josh Downs out of UNC, he was an absolute monster. I don't think that, again, you want to size at wide receiver probably. I don't know if you go there. Keishon Butte got he was one of the guys that I'm pretty sure got in trouble for sleeping with the assistant at
He
LSU.
marked higher. The Jets should draft him earlier and have him hang out with Zach Wilson.
I think that was the LSU receiver, but I mean, I think if I pull him up, I don't know if they have his full stats on here. Yeah, he played 11 games, 48, 538. I think it was a year that they expected him to pop more, and he just didn't. So at the end of the day, not the best year. So Jalen Hyatt's the other one, right? 4 touchdowns in the Alabama game. You were at that game, I believe.
No, I went to Bama, Texas A&M this year.
True. Okay. So take wide receiver off for now. I don't think they go tight end. I don't think they go running back. I think they get a veteran quarterback, and we already addressed the O-line. So right now, I think we can move over to the defensive side of the ball and look at linebacker, safety, interior defensive line. Is that
those are the 3 big needs? And linebacker's not even a big need. It just depends what you do. Like, I'm happy you bring back Quincy Williams, and he's your starting guy. He was good enough last year. I mean, the defense itself was really good. So if you told me our defense in 2023 is the exact same defense, sure, it's not going to happen. Guys got to get re-signed and et cetera. So the one thing I think the Jets were really missing last year was an interior defensive lineman, big run stuffing nose tackle. I swear, people have been saying this on Twitter. I think the Tony Adams guy looked really good at safety the last couple of games too. So I'm not dying to take a safety, but that's not going to prevent you from drafting a guy.
I agree, and I think the sneaky play is interior defensive line. I think they like their veteran linebackers. I think they're okay at safety. I think they want to keep getting younger and better on the defensive line. And it's not, Nathan Shepard still valuable, I guess, at times. Like he played okay. I wasn't like, it used to be like a joke. Nathan Shepard was on the team.
Whatever, he's a good depth guy. Fine, he comes in. He murdered somebody. Maybe it was Trevor Lawrence. Also, Michael Clemens murdered Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
And Clemens will play some kind of that role, but he's not fat enough. I want the fattest, most jacked maniac who will just eat up blocks, put him in on first down when you know a run's coming. It's too many of those times. You have like Sheldon Rankins and Quinnen in there. Quinnen gets like quadruple team. Sheldon Rankins runs forward like a psychopath and tries to sack someone, even though it's like a run. And then the guy just runs forward for 12 yards.
I think the tricky part here is that Trenton Simpson's probably going first round, and you have him here, linebacker out of Clemson. I've seen him mocked as high as like 11. So I mean, is he gonna go at pick 43? Probably not. But a guy like Nakobe Dean last year, people had Nakobe Dean 15th, 16th overall. He went all the way down. So
remember JOK with the Browns, but he had a heart problem.
He did.
From Notre Dame.
Jack Campbell also rated out unbelievably well out of Iowa at linebacker. And then a draft crush that was really put on to me by Connor Rogers and Trevor Sikkema. Keanu Benton is like 6. You got to find his size here. I don't know if they have it on. He's like that traditional nose tackle that you want, and he just murders people. So if you want to go one of these 3 guys, you improve at linebacker, you get younger, or you get younger at the defensive line. I think for the sake of reasonability, maybe Benton's the play of what would be there.
You think he'll
But
be there in the third round,
if
Ben?
you're giving me the Trent Simpson option, I'm just gonna go with him. Athletic. I mean, he had everyone on Clemson on defensive side kind of had a weird quote unquote down year that was like projected to go in the first round. They still had a great defense, but I just don't know if that like shot up as much as other guys did. So I mean I'm down to go Trenton Simpson and make this mock look great, but at least I wanted to give credit to Jack Campbell, Keanu Benton, and then Jordan Battle has been projected because he was supposed to come out last year and return to Alabama. He was like a late one guy in every mock draft ever because the Jets needed a safety. So once he returned back, we were done with it.
Maybe we take the linebacker now and try to get Battle or the interior D lineman later.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Noah Sewell, Penei Sewell's brother out of Oregon. Again, he was a guy who was projected like first round going into the year, had a really down year. I think he missed like a I was listening to which pod was it? There was one pod that was talking about Sewell. It might have even been the Rogers and Sycamore one about how down they were on him going into the year. So I'm fine with going Trenton Simpson. Just again, I don't think he'll be there, but for the sake of the mock, we'll take it.
Let's make the mock look good.
I like it.
Tweet out that graphic.
Oh, the graphic. Yeah. People are again, I used to do the thing last year. Remember, I would tweet out like pick 4, Sauce Gardner, pick 10, Thibodeau, and I kept naming all like the top 100 guys, and I'll do like a 7-round mock draft, and 90% of people get it, and the other 10% are like, "This is so unreasonable, you fuck face," and I'm like, "All right, eat a dick," right? Like, I get it. So here's third round, our final one.
Where are they back? Where's our boys?
Our boys are gone, I
Come
think.
on. No, search them. They
So
can't.
we did
Where's Battle?
we did safety, Battle gone.
Mother of God.
I think let's go through real quick though. Keely Ringo, again, first round guy, the unbelievable size that you want in a corner to the point that he actually could be a safety in the NFL, which would be really cool to get like a top tier talent that isn't fitting his position. Maybe I did see an article that was like, if you suggest Keely Ringo should move to safety, you're an idiot. And I just suggested that there, but I'll still say it. He's a guy like when you're watching the national championship game, you're like, oh damn, that corner's getting beat bad. And it was always Keely Ringo on the end of it. So I would like Devon Achane just because his name, but we won't take a running back. Obviously, we love our running back core right now, but Devon Achane is a sick name.
I do wonder what the Jets are going to do with the third running back spot, because it's going to be obviously Breece Hall in some capacity, however healthy is Michael Carter, and then what? Like Ty Johnson again?
Yeah.
James Robinson, I don't think is going to come back.
No, Robinson hates New York. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah,
He's so mad.
You could draft a third guy. I don't know if you're gonna do that in the third round, but if Douglas loves a guy, it's just not much eventual upside playing time for that dude with Breece.
And he's shown he's not afraid to do it. P. Ryan to Carter, Hall, undrafted guys like Zonovan Knight. A sneaky
we
play.
have Zonovan Knight. Jesus Christ. I forgot.
A sneaky play here could be Hendon Hooker in the third round. It really could be.
Yes. Look, I mean, obviously depends still. If the Jets use their first round pick to trade for a quarterback, I'd rather them draft something, but set yourself up for the future. But then, right, like if you get Aaron Rodgers, the play would probably be for Zach Wilson to learn, etc. Right? What, and they're going to trade Wilson? I don't know. So.
No, I hear you.
This guy has 2 fucking first names. I'm out.
Brandon Joseph is a name, though. It's always been around. And I feel like coming out of a program like Notre Dame, looking at plays every fucking snap, coverage snaps, run defense. You want more than 23 tackles for a safety. But Brandon Joseph has been, at least to my understanding, high up on draft boards. We could also do the classic. Can we filter by average draft position? Maybe.
Can we take a big fat defensive lineman? How was Kyle Hamilton this year for the Ravens?
I think I didn't hear enough about him. It was he definitely was better than like an Isaiah Simmons was his rookie year. Because remember Isaiah Simmons was, he could do everything. And he played like 4% of snaps.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyle Hamilton only started 4 games, but he played 2 sacks, 62 tackles.
Looking at the big guys up front, nothing stands out. The guys that I know and just have like actually heard in like top 5, top 10 position rankings, but definitely missing a guy here like Moro Ojamo going 65 average draft position. He's gonna be an end of second round guy for these mocks, probably pretty fucking good. I do you go like a Hendon Hooker? Oh, I saw Jalen Duncan out here too. You mentioned having a million tackles. You probably don't go another tackle
Because
here.
you also have Max Mitchell. So if he didn't
Yep.
turn into a depth guy, I don't know if I would do that.
No, I hear you. Yeah, nothing standing out to the point that I think you either go Brandon Joseph or you go Hendon Hooker.
Take Brandon Joseph. The Jets need a safety.
Fuck
I
it.
know
And it
we'll
would be
take a
cool to have Notre
cornerback.
Dame in the graphics. So we're going Brandon Joseph. I hope they give us like a good preview at the end of it. And again, this is version 1. As things change, as we get more in depth in the players, we'll do more. But at the end of the day, you're giving me a young tackle who's versatile. You're giving me a linebacker who is, previous a top 100 player, and he's had a down year, right? And look at the grade. We got an F for Brandon Joseph, but that's based on average
Nice.
draft position. So they take it where you took them. But also Trenton Simpson should probably be a first round pick. So that's
A
what we have.
C?
That's what we have.
They projected him 40, whatever. We took him 59. We got a C. The fuck is this?
No, I'll take. We got better at 3 positions here. This doesn't even include free agency. We'll do a pre-free agency and
Well,
post-free agency draft.
no, I like this is smart because again, the only we've hit all of our needs and we've hit them pretty smart. It's nose tackle and maybe another receiver or a tight end depending on what the Jets do are the other needs. But I would be happy if the Jets end up with a stud tackle and then a couple starting guys at other spots. Just the run defense is the one thing that concerns me. Behind when you have Sauce and DJ Reed and Michael Carter,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a pass rush, just shore up the run defense.
I agree. And if you look at the way that the top 10 is sneaky, kind of realistic. Maybe not in that order, but the players that go in the top 10. Because if you look at, we talked about it before, Levis, Young, Stroud, Anthony Richardson. If 4 go in the top 13, Will Anderson and Jalen Carter are 100% locks to get taken. It's looking like Witherspoon and Gonzalez will be locks to get taken as well. So what is that? 8 guys now that you knew you weren't going to get, and positions you don't really need at this point. So now you're fighting 5 spots where, yeah, Tyree Wilson can be an edge that goes in front of you. I don't think Quentin Johnston goes in the top 10, but who knows? Maybe someone takes a pass on a receiver here. And then we get one of these linebackers, or I'm sorry, one of these offensive tackles, linemen, and then you can go after any position you want after it. So I want a tackle. I want to make the offensive line good, build a wall, move them to guard if you need to for a year. You have AVT coming back. You have Becton hopefully coming back. Give me of identity, and you talk about it all the time. Be able to run the ball, murder people when you can, and then don't let your quarterback get murdered.
Yeah,
Very simple.
now the Jets have a defensive identity.
Yeah.
So you're right. They just need an offensive. And it would be, you'd think, ground and pound, Brees Hall, these maniac dudes. Then if you get Aaron Rodgers, it's just murder people, score 35 points. But I'd wonder if the Jets, if they have 13 and something similar happens in the top 12 before, like you said, all these positions go that the Jets don't need, if the Jets would think to move down a little bit. Because if you have Skoronski, you have Broderick Jones, Paris Johnson all on the board. Maybe you move down a couple spots, accumulate some more draft capital, et cetera, et cetera. There's some good opportunities there. But man, you're right. Oh, the one other thing with the Jets offensive line, I feel like going into last year, people were super excited because you had young guys like AVT, you had Mekhi Becton, who people were excited about. Connor McGovern, solid guy. Laken Tomlinson, Pro Bowler, yada, yada, yada. The Jets offensive line looks solid. It's the same line going into this year, but they're probably going to improve on it in some way. And you're hoping to have Becton back. Plus, we know that Elijah Vera Tucker is an all-pro. We didn't know that last year. So, and he didn't obviously literally make the all-pro team, but, he played like an all-pro. I'm super high in the Jets offensive line. When a lot of people I talk to are like, meh. I don't know. Interesting.
I think the reason it's meh is the Fant Brown factor of it. Like getting older, hurt, injury prone, fans' value went down. Like, how do you feel about that? And then people that you talk to probably aren't high on Mekhi Becton as we are. Friend of the program, Mekhi Becton.
Friend of the program.
Best friends in the DMs, me and Mekhi Becton. But at that point, if you're not high on Becton, you don't like the other 2 tackles, you're looking at Max Mitchell being your starting tackle if you move AVT back to guard. And then
that's already but that's not fair because that's saying 3 other guys don't work out.
But no,
and the pick.
But say Fant's gone, right? That's a very likely scenario. Fant is gone.
But not yet. But yes, he's gone. I agree with you.
And then you have 2 guys now that you're banking on. One could retire. and one's I'm putting it from a
I get it.
devil's
But
advocate
you
position.
also could play AVT at tackle. Like there's a lot of
You
stuff the Jets
can.
can do. And in this scenario, you're drafting, the 13th overall pick. That's a lot of capital into your offensive line.
It's a ton. It's a ton of capital. And then you have Lincoln that you obviously paid who had a down year. So I get the sentiment though. It's you got to throw the best five together. You have two guys that you took in the top 15 technically that you think are valued there. If you add one more to that puzzle and then fill in two veterans like a McGovern, like a Herbig, maybe
Yeah.
Max Mitchell can spot, then you literally will build a offensive line that's not just good this year, but good for the next 4 years.
No, agree. And I understand people are skeptical, et cetera,
Yeah.
but I think people are not looking at the fact that this could be an elite line. It does have the potential to do that. We're not patchwork bullshit offensive line. This has, I think there's a good floor. And if everything works out right, which it hasn't, but if it does, which means Mekhi Becton stays healthy, et cetera, stuff like that, it could be insane. It could be elite.
I
It's
hear you.
exciting.
I hear
It's
you.
fun.
I like the three here. We'll run it back again. We'll bring some more mock drafts. We'll have some mock draft analysts join the show in the future. But hey, we'll be back. Mike, anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, I was a little beat up today. Apologize for my mutes and coughs. I was in Arizona this weekend. Super Bowl was there. It was fun.
Did you not see it? I thought I could have sworn that you were gonna find like some random.
I didn't see any celebrities. It was
Yeah, I was
wild.
like none.
Yeah, because we went out to the bars on Saturday. I didn't see anybody. I went to the waste management tournament. Was great. Didn't see anybody. I thought I saw George Kittle, but it wasn't. I screamed at the guy. But no, nothing that unbelievable to report. But whoa, what a great place, Scottsdale. Holy shit.
We got to get back. We got to go. I would love to go. Also, while you were gone, we haven't done a video in 4 days. Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, or rookie of the years,
Dude.
whatever. Just a casual Thursday night that was.
The first time a team has had the offensive and defensive rookie of the year since the 2017 Saints, Marshawn Lattimore and Alvin Kamara. What they do the next 3 years? 13-3, 13-3, 12-4. Who is their quarterback? An old, semi-washed up Drew Brees. The Jets are winning 13 games with Aaron Rodgers next year.
Book it. All right. Positive way to end it. Mike, I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, dude.
Bye.